My nostalgia is kicking in something fierce today, as just recently we got the first trailer for the long-awaited next installment in the Karate Kid franchise. It's everything I wanted it to be and more. I've always had a deep love for the Karate Kid. I'm not old enough to have ever watched it in cinema or anything like that, I'm not that old. I definitely had it on VHS though, and I loved to watch it. Mostly just the first film, but that is the most classic one anyway. At one point it even had me contemplating doing karate myself until young me realised that I was liable to burst into tears if I even knocked my elbow or stubbed my toe getting out of bed. Karate quickly became out of the question for me. Regardless, I lived vicariously through the journey of Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, and I consider the franchise a definitive classic. There's really so much to love about them, but I think my favourite part's always been the bond that forms between Daniel and Miyagi. As somebody who grew up without a grandfatherly influence, that one always hit me firmly in the feels. Wish I had a Mr. Miyagi. Despite this love of the franchise that's persisted from my early childhood days, when it got that reboot/spin-off years later with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith, I was skeptical to say the least. You're not Daniel LaRusso. You're not Mr. Miyagi. What are you doing? You're not even doing karate in this movie. They explicitly call it kung fu again and again. Because of that, I never actually bothered to give it a chance until it had been out for years and years. I feel like every week on this channel I have to confess to having judged something without watching it, but here we are. I did it again! Because when I did sit down to watch that newer version, I thought it was legitimately great, and it had so much of what I loved from the OG. Whoops. So I kept an open mind for the eventual sequel that would come out, and was actually waiting rather eagerly. Then I kept waiting, and waiting, and waiting. On and on we went with no news and just throwaway comments and rumours. Eventually, for the most part, I just stopped caring at all and moved on to other things. So when this new trailer dropped, I was majorly hyped, but majorly surprised. Karate Kid Legends is on the way and is scheduled for release on May 2025. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And even better that it's combining the two cinematic universes into one. It has the OG mixed with the new China/Kung Fu infused world, although it does seem as if there's no Jaden Smith this time. Seems a bit strange to me, but I've always thought the best part of that film was Jackie Chan anyway, and he's back so I'm happy regardless. Now though, we have to talk about the trailer. It's blown up, everybody's excited. It's gotten 14 million views on YouTube in 4 days and is still trending as I write this. The provided blurb is this. In Karate Kid Legends, after a family tragedy, Kung Fu prodigy Li Fong is uprooted from his home in Beijing and is forced to move to New York City with his mother. Lee struggles to let go of his past as he tries to fit in with his new classmates, and although he doesn't want to fight, trouble seems to find him everywhere. When a new friend needs his help, Lee enters a karate competition, but his skills alone aren't enough. Lee's kung fu teacher Mr. Han enlists original Karate Kid Daniel LaRusso, and Lee learns a new way to fight, merging their two styles into one for the ultimate martial arts showdown. Enough about that though, let's talk about the trailer. Immediately, the trailer sucks you in with the chimes and the wide shot looking at the kung fu. Is the word dojo? Is that just Japanese? Training facility is what I'm going to go with. It seems like this place belongs to Mr. Han, who has well and truly had a come up since the previous film. He was just some maintenance guy. Even if in the 15 years since he's become a successful martial arts teacher, having a school in a location like this is next level. Poor old Miyagi was always in his little house, right? We see a bunch of kids training, but most importantly, we see our new lead. He does some crazy kung fu flips, and we see him using one of those training fight dummies. No idea if these are actually real. I've seen him in Kung Fu Panda and now this, so I presume they have to exist to some extent. They're also in The Master of Disguise, but we won't go into that here. All the while, we have some narration by Mr. Han talking about how both Kung Fu and Karate are rooted in history and tradition, just to set the mood of how this kid's clearly going to combine styles in a new tradition to become a champion of whatever tournament whilst also facing down a bully. A tried and tested plot of pretty much every Karate Kid film ever. It still hasn't gotten stale either. Also, I love that they were doing the jacket off, jacket on training that Dre did. Just nice to see that continuation. It was at this point in the trailer that I died and was reborn. I had no idea at first that they were bringing back Daniel, so when the car pulls up and the next shot is at Mr. Miyagi's place and we see his memorial photo on the wall, I was deep in shock. Then you hear Daniel's voice and you see his face, and it was everything. Just everything. Not just for a cheap cameo either, it seems, but as a key role. Can't believe how young he looks too. It's been 40 years since the OG came out, and he's in his 60s now, but look at his face! That is youth. Conversely, Jackie Chan is looking far older than I remember, and I feel like a part of my childhood is withering away right before my eyes. I'm not ready. Stop aging, please. Then we see the lead looking sad in a New York taxi, and with his mum floating a lantern into the air, both of them looking very sad. This, combined with the mention of a family tragedy, would seem to suggest that his dad dies in some sort of accident, and his mum has to accept a job abroad to make ends meet. The classic Karate Kid formula in play once again. As we know from the little blurb and from every other Karate Kid film, this poor kid's going to find himself getting bullied, and there's going to be a girl involved too. Yep, here we go. Surprise, surprise, he's with a girl on the subway and gets waylaid by some bullies. Bullies who I suppose beat his ass at least once over the course of the movie. We see him nursing a black eye in his locker after all. So I guess Mr. Han's going to enlist Daniel to help train him when he can't be there? Something along those lines. In narration, Mr. Han tells Daniel that Lee is pretty much his Daniel. Also, Mr. Han seems to know a lot about Mr. Miyagi. Are they going to be revealed to have been friends or something? Oh, damn, I wish the actor for Miyagi was still alive. Dude would be very old by now, I think early 90s, but goddamn, it would be great to see him in this. Now I'm sad. We see some training and sparring, and Lee at what seems to be an underground fight ring type of deal. Not a big official tournament, more of a street fight. Seems he goes to a couple such events and whoops some ass. We also see him go full prime Jackie Chan and start doing crazy moves in New York against some random. Swing kicks off the fire escape ladder and other such things that are probably impossible in a real fight, but that look so awesome regardless. Also, the guy getting kicked looks like he's in for a very nasty landing. We have Daniel give Lee a headband with a tree on it with the words, 2 branches, 1 tree. Just to reiterate that he's combining martial arts, but that ultimately it's for a singular and shared purpose. I really like the guy they've chosen to play Lee as well. He has this really sweet and innocent looking face, massive baby face. It's going to hit really hard when he does the scenes where he's getting pummeled by the bullies or when he's almost down for the count in the tournament before he comes back for the victory. We see Han and Daniel thrown down as well at what I'd have to guess is the underground fight place. Seems like there's a lot of people around, and why else would they be fighting there? I'm thinking something goes wrong and they have to protect Lee. We see Lee on the stage of a more official looking fight later on, or maybe not, maybe it's not official. It has an elevated ring at least. But holy shit, that crowd does not look safe. Feels like somebody is going over that railing. It would be inevitable if this was real life. And I suspect that this will be the location for the pivotal final battle. We also see Han and Daniel sparring with Lee on the rooftop. Stop it! Stop! I can only get so excited. It's still months away, don't do this to me. Then Lee finishes off the trailer absolutely destroying some poor bastard with a big jumping spin kick type of thing. I'm no martial artist, so I have no idea what the move would actually be called, except for traumatic brain injury for the dude in blue. My god, this trailer is so good. Seriously, what the hell? How are they going to casually drop one of the best trailers of the year just like that? What a Christmas gift! Oh god, I hope this movie does well. I need this film to do well. Give me $1 billion box office. Validate my nostalgia, damn it. But yeah, beyond that, not really much else to say. This was a great trailer that's deeply gripping and exciting. Lots of stuff for both longtime fans of the franchise and casuals who know nothing that can draw them in and get them excited for the movie. We'll see how it goes though. So with all that being said, these have all been my opinions and I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the trailer? Did you like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment and subscribe and let me know.